Hey everybody, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden. Today we're out in our garden. We're going to prune our crabapple tree. It's midwinter, but it's a good time to prune a crabapple.
It really needs it too. It's right behind us. I don't know if you've noticed this in our yard before. We might have pointed it out.
It's kind of scraggly mess.
It is a scraggly mess. It has a lot of lichen in it, so we know it's very healthy. We have good air quality, and it's so dense, right? That like when it leaves out in the spring and summer, it there's very little airflow that can actually move through this.
Yeah, and that's a great time for pests and diseases to get in there and really do their thing and harm the tree and make the tree look really bad. So we're going to go through and prune it today for airflow and a couple other things.
So we're gonna watch Sean. He's gonna explain kind of the cuts he's gonna make and why, and let's figure this out so we can make a plan for this tree.
I know, it's a beautiful old tree.
It really is.
Yep. You can see on the screen there's the bloom. It's just gorgeous.
So beautiful.
And it actually produces crab apples. There's actually a couple still on the vine here, and we'll show you those here in a minute too.
Yeah, we're not sure if it's edible or not though, because this was a tree, again, planted by my grandparents a long time ago. So it's unknown. Unknown. So for now, we're not gonna eat it, but we do wanna see the beautiful flowers.
So guys, here we are. I am underneath our crabapple tree. As Allison said, it's a very old tree. We've got a lot of different things going on here. Allison mentioned, the lichens on here. That's a good sign too, because our air quality, as she mentioned too, our air quality is good. This isn't hurting the tree overall. It's here and there, it's sparse. It's not shading out or hurting the plant's ability to, the tree's ability to grow. So we're gonna leave that alone. Now, you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but there's a lot of dead pieces in here. And this is really contributing. There's so much in here that it's contributing to just this mangled mess, this tangled mess of limbs. And you don't want that in any tree really, because one, it doesn't look good. And when the tree leaves out, you got these dead pieces always in there, and that takes away from its beauty. But then also, the airflow and, making nice little homes for pests to come in and, set up shop and really multiply and then hurt your tree and then other surrounding plants too. You don't want to have that. So for that reason, it's good to prune that out. It's a really good time to prune a crabapple tree and other deciduous shrubs and trees right now, hardwoods, because there are no leaves. You can see all the branch structure here. We can really see inside this canopy of this tree and see what's alive, what's dead, what's rubbing and crossing. And these are all important things to see when you're pruning. So guys, before we get into how we're gonna approach pruning our crabapple tree today, we wanna let you know we're gonna make available to everyone our winter pruning do's and don'ts video, and that'll be out about a day or two, and you'll be able to find that description down below here in this video once we get that ready to go. So just wanna make sure you know that. There's a lot more to know about pruning in the winter for a lot of your different plants, especially hardwood, deciduous, and evergreen shrubs and trees. So make note of that. If you want to know more, look for that down below. So here's our crabapple tree. Today what we're going to do is we're going to prune out the dead. We're going to prune out all the dead tissue that we can find and see. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the whole structure of this plant, and we're going to look at what's crossing over, what's looking like it's kind of stretching out. I mean, you can see we've got this whole limb right here. It's stretching completely out that way into our cotoneaster, and even this piece, I mean, it's the that was a broken piece. That was a dead piece. I just broke that. But this whole piece right here, again, more broken pieces. That's all dead wood falling out of there, by the way. The canopies are intertwined. We don't want that, again, because that creates that dense growth, and it's a great place for pests to start making a home. But crabapples are susceptible to a lot of different pests and diseases. Those pests being aphids, spider mites, and a couple other ones that are really nasty. They're also susceptible to fire blight. And so there's a couple other diseases that you don't want them to get. And so we need to prune this tree specifically for that reason, because they are susceptible to many different kinds of pests and diseases throughout a year, especially spring and summer. So what we're going to do, prune out all the dead. We're probably going to get rid of this whole older branch right here, because as you can see, I mean, look at this thing. This thing is just stretching out there. We're going to get rid of this whole thing. Then after that, we're going to go through and thin this out, get more of the dead out, and then start shaping it a little bit, but not too much. Because one thing that we don't want to do when we're pruning, at least in the wintertime, is prune so much of the plant that it stimulates it to grow early when we still have these freezing temperatures and cold climate. And the reason for that is because when you have new tissue that develops during the wintertime, it's really susceptible to dieback because it's not hardened off tissue. And so when it gets that freeze, it actually dies back and you create more susceptibility and stress on the plant to get more pests and diseases. So do not prune too much off the plant to stimulate it, meaning do not prune more than 1/3 of any living tissue away from the plant at one time. So guys, before I get into this, I wanted to tell you too, the tools we're going to use today, all Corona tools, super great tools, hardened steel, durable, and they put up with a lot of abuse because I put them through the abuse. So just want to let you know, links for all these will be down below too. So with that, let's rock and roll. Okay, first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hand saw out, my folding saw. I'm going to take this whole piece off because once I do that, I'll be able to get a better picture of what's going on here, and that'll give me a better idea what the plant and the tree is going to look like. So I'm going to do that first. So guys, if you've ever taken a large branch off any tree or plant before, you know that through experience, you want to take the weight off of that whole branch going back to the main part of the trunk of the tree or the shrub, because if you don't, it can lead to other damage to the tree with bark and different things, and you might crush other plants so that are right below the branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the weight in sections off of this whole branch system right here. So I'm going to do an undercut. I'm going to relieve that tension on the bark, and then I'm going to make my cut just in front of it. See? And if you can see that, here's where I made my undercut, and then I cut in front of it. And you can tell this wood's pretty much, this is got a lot of weight to it because it just kind of popped off. And so, but what I did was I saved this tree from having bark get ripped back from the weight of this coming back by undercutting it like that. So, good. Okay guys, so that's that. Now, you probably just saw this, but this whole, all these branches right here just kind of went down because this was actually holding it all up, and that's going to happen. Okay, so now we need to concentrate on getting this off. Again, section it off. All that weight's off of this, so I can just make a regular cut. I don't have to worry about the weight of that branch now hurting the rest of this plant going back. Now this is cool too. See that discoloration right there? That is the tree's response to cordoning off damage and rot and disease, and this is what they call CODIT. And so there's disease in here. It's grown around this. It's cordoned off this diseased part or this damaged part right here, and same thing over here on this. And you can see where this got cut, moisture and disease got in here, and it cordoned off with that dark and black area right there, so it wouldn't go back into the rest of the tree. So guys, if you want to know more about CODIT, it's C-O-D-I-T. It's an acronym. It means a heck of a lot more. Arborists use it for their type of work and to understand how trees grow and deal with disease and such. The ISA, the International Society of Arboriculture, has a lot more on this, so go check them out. Now, right where I'm cutting this, I'm making an undercut because I don't want this, if I cut this straight down, I don't want this to peel off any bark coming down here and further damaging the tree. So I'm undercutting it there. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to get this right here. I'm going to cut up here. I'm cutting right where the branch collar starts. You can see here's part of the trunk. It kind of bubbles out a little bit, and then the trunk or the branch starts right here and it comes up. I'm cutting right in front of this bubble area, and this is called the branch collar. So I'm going to cut straight down. Or not straight down, I'm going to cut down at an angle here, and right where this branch starts coming out, I'm gonna cut just in front of that where this normalizes in its diameter, and that's the branch collar. Oh. Get that a little bit more there. There we go, that's better. Get that as smooth as we can. The smoother this cut, and right along that branch collar it's going to be, the faster and cleaner this this tree is gonna heal and callus this over and basically cordon this off so it doesn't get hurt by more pest disease. Also, you've probably seen there's some stub cuts here. I got stub cuts all over this thing. We're gonna take care of those real quick because, again, we don't want the tree to spend a lot of time trying to cover this. You can actually see it right here. This is cool. Let me get rid of this and I'll show you something. So what we got here is, you can see this stub cut. You can see right here, the tree has started to grow out to callus this whole stub cut over. And this is what our short video was all about. If you leave stub cuts on plants, they're gonna try and callus over, but they have to grow that length, that whole area to get over the stub cut to then callus that over. So when you cut it at that branch collar, you're basically helping the plant callus and heal itself a lot faster. You're not gonna see this growth of the tree trying to grow over this. So guys, enough of me talking. Let's get this done because we got a lot of other stuff to do around the garden, around the house today. So here we go. So looks like we're pretty much done for now. We removed, you can see right there, we removed a lot of dead out of it. We raised it up, brought it back in, got it away from the cotoneaster there. It's looking really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it leaf out and bloom this spring because it's got a cute shape to it now. Mm-hmm. It's kind of sad there is a lot of mass that was removed, but it's not going to damage the plant. It's only going to make it healthier.
A lot of it was dead tissue.
It was all
too.
dead.
There was some live, but not a lot. So
I think it's going to look great.
Yep, me too. So guys, leave your comments and questions down below for us. We love hearing from you. Give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
And that's a wrap for today because it's getting really cold and we want to get back inside for a little bit. So we'll be back tomorrow with our next garden care video.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.